The medieval period was huge. The period ranges from 476 AD to the 15th century, right before the beginning of the Renaissance in Italy. Religion dominated the subject matter of the time, so much of the literature was used to teach biblical and Catholic Church teachings. During the 11th century, troubadours, or composers and performers of lyric poetry, emerged with poems of courtly love, a medieval European literary conception of love that emphasized nobility and chivalry. Medieval literature is filled with examples of knights setting out on adventures and performing various services for ladies because of their courtly love. I've referenced chivalric romance before in another lecture, and you will see how it's related here. You can't talk about the medieval period without talking about Beowulf. Beowulf is the beginning of our record of English literature. And as you can see here from the original manuscript, it was written in quite a different language than we're familiar with today. Epic poems were popular in the medieval period, like Beowulf and the Song of Roland. I'd like to read to you an excerpt from Beowulf so that you can recognize it if you see it on the exam. Stone bright the street, it showed the way to the crowd of clansmen. Corselets glistened, hand-forged, hard on their harness bright. The steel ring sang. As they strode along in mail of battle and marched to the hall, there, weary of ocean, the wall along they set their bucklers, their broad shields down, and bowed them to bench. The breastplates clanged, war gear of men, their weapons stacked. Spears of the seafarers stood together, gray-tipped ash, that iron band was worthily weaponed. Now remember, Beowulf was the story of our hero Beowulf, who was out to conquer the monster Grendel. Many stories like that in the medieval period were popular, tales of marvels and beasts and heroic knights and slaying impossible things, missions to be accomplished and yet done successfully. Fabliaux was also a style of writing that emerged in the 13th century. These were mostly sarcastic, cynical, and comic stories. And the most familiar author of Fabliaux was Geoffrey Chaucer. I mentioned to you earlier Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales and how important they were in the medieval period. I also mentioned that he popularized Middle English. So Canterbury Tales is written in a little different way than you would normally recognize the way that we speak now. On the exam, I would like you to recognize it because it may show up. So here's an excerpt written from Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, the way that it should show up on the exam so that you could recognize the different structure of the language. Other examples of writing are The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, Summa Theologica by Thomas Aquinas, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, Le Morte d'Arthur by Sir Thomas Malory, The Book of the City of Ladies by Christina Pizan, Consolation of Philosophy by Boetius, Decameron by Giovanni Boccaccio, and Civius by Hildegard of Bingen. Please try to review these readings. It is so important to look these up because I will give you summaries to the big ones, but not all of them am I able to summarize for you. You will have to find these and find important characters and plot points so that you can distinguish them on the exam. And now let me read to you from Chaucer's Canterbury Tales in the way that it was originally written. But now, sire, let me see what I shall sing. Aha, by God, I have my tale again. When that my fourth husband was on bier, I weep algate and made sorry cheer, as weaves mootin, for it is usage, and with my coverchief covered my visage. But for that I was purveyed of a make, I whipped but small, and that I undertake. So you can see here that it would be very distinguishable on the exam, this type of writing, compared to the other excerpts that I've shown you so far. Please take note of how different the spelling is, the sentence structure. You'll notice the accent that I used when reading it because that's the proper pronunciation for the words. I'd like you to study this and remember to review these lectures over several times. Read the excerpts on your own out loud because that will improve your memory. and try to be able to start distinguishing them and guessing who has authored them. There will be excerpts on the exam that you will have to assign authors to, so I want you to be able to be confident in this. Use your knowledge of the lectures to try the study questions at the end of this unit and see how well you do.